Well, hello there. Are you interested in sigils? Does the idea of art magic intrigue you? Do you want to see a sigil crafter show you how his art is done? Well, stick around because I'm going to design a sigil from scratch. And I'm going to put it on one of these little canvases, show you all how I make them. Hi, my name is Frater Zigmund. I am a queer Hermetic mystic, a ceremonial and art magician, and a conceptual artist working in the medium of religion. Let's head over to the work table. I've got a kind of grubby shirt on here. I can get some paint on. And let's make our little sigil. All right, so we got a little canvas here, and we're going to be putting a sigil on this. So I have some newsprint laid down, so I'm going to design the sigil right on this newsprint. And when we're done, we're going to have something that looks like this. I made this sigil for my household deity, the goddess Hestia, and we keep this in a little shrine that we have dedicated to her up in our house. So you can get pretty creative with these. I did a little fun stuff on the background here. But yeah, so we're going to do that with this. Before we actually get started designing the sigils, so I want to make a sigil dedicated to creative opportunities in honor of my new YouTube channel and what might come from putting my art out there. And so we're going to start with this sigil tutorial. So I've written down what I want the sigil to represent, and we're going to use that to actually make the sigil. This sigil is going to be aligned with the planet Venus. I do a lot of planetary magic. It's a good way to sort of organize different intentions, different things that you're looking for, different energies you want to work with. And so for creativity, for art, for beauty and harmony, we're going to go with the goddess Venus, who rules Friday. And I am making this on a Friday. I wasn't able to do it in the hour of Venus. I just had other things going on at the time. But here we are, day of Venus. I'm wearing a green shirt. In the Golden Dawn tradition, green is associated with Venus, and that's my own particular tradition. In addition, the metal copper is used. So I've got some copper paint. Can I get this up on here? It says copper. So I like using metallic paints a lot. So we're going to prepare the canvas first so that it can dry while we're designing the sigil. So I've got a little palette here. I'm going to put a little bit of paint. We don't need too much. This thing's not too big. Get some clean water. Add a few drops. I use acrylic paint exclusively. Oil is lovely, but I don't like dealing with the chemicals. Acrylic is much gentler, much easier to work with, and it just sort of fits my vibe better. All right, so then we're just going to go ahead and just dump this down on here. Might have to do 2 coats, but we'll see. We'll see. And of course, like I said, you can get very creative with all of this, and there are so many correspondences and associations that you can play with. I particularly like planetary correspondences using different metals, and paint is just a little easier to get than, like, let's say a piece of copper. I'm sure I could order one online, but let's kind of smooth that out there. Then the good thing about these little doodads is that you can sort of grab them by the inside by pushing out. And it's not the firmest grip, but keeps you from getting paint on your fingers. Almost there, almost there. All right. So we've done them all in one direction, so I'm going to let this dry and then we're going to go in the other direction. So let's put that to the side and let's get to designing our sigil. Wash the brush, clean the brush, take care of your brushes. So, I learned how to make sigils from reading Liber Null by Peter Carroll. There's a very famous page in that book that shows you how to make sigils, how to make mantras. It's probably all over the internet, but I don't want to post it. It's not my copyright. So I'm just going to show you the method that he describes in that book, which I've always used. And there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this. This is one I always come back to that I always really like. And it's based off of the letters in the phrase or intention or word that you're trying to sigilize. And the first thing you need to do is write it out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take each letter and remove any repeating letters. So we have this first letter here, which is a C, and there's no other C's. So then we have an R, and there's one other R, so we'll cross that one out, and we'll put this here. We have an E. We got this E over here. An A. No other A's. A T. There's a T over here and over here. An I. We can get rid of these I's. A V. No other V. Oh, we missed this E before. So that E's gone. And so now O. Consider this O. P. Consider this P. U. And S. Now you could like rearrange these letters and make a word out of it, and that could be kind of fun. That's usually not what I do, but that's definitely a thing you can explore. See if you can make any other words out of this. If you're trying to make like a servitor, you can make a name for it out of this sort of thing with this pool of letters. But we're going to make a sigil. And so what you do is you take each of these letters and use the shape of the letter to create a mystical sort of looking symbol. So let's start with the C. So I'm going to use the C like this. And then let's put the E inside of it. And then usually I kind of just put a little dot or I cross them out while I'm doing it. And then let's put the O right here. And then we can bring the I down. And then you can also do fun things with an I. Because you can just use it as like a line, or you can give it bars at the top and the bottom. So that's kind of cool. Now our sigil is kind of getting a kind of a bit of a structure. And then we have, let's see, the T is a very like straight line kind of thing. So maybe we want to put the T intersecting the central line. So like this. So there's the T. And then maybe we can stick the A on the end of it. And that makes this nice little arrow. Maybe put a very... So this is sort of just the first step of making the sigil. You can see that you can kind of tell where all the letters are. So after you get this together, we're going to copy it and change it a little bit. And then we need to put the S somewhere. The S is a nice squiggle. I really like a nice little squiggle. So maybe we put the S here, like that. So we've got this nice arrow. And then the V. We can put the V like this. R. Put the R there. So we've got PUN, pun. Where do we want to put PUN? Ends, I often like as a nice squiggle on a line like that. And a P. So we can extend this out and make a P like that. Or maybe pointing up, I don't know. We'll try it. It could turn into a circle too. And then a U. Where would I put a U? One last letter to fit in. What if we did this? Kind of capped it. Something like that. All right. So if we do this again, so let's start with that little circle in the center there. Let me come down. And then maybe we do a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and then we can enclose the whole thing like that. Kind of reminds me of a dog, actually. I have little eyes here, but that's okay. Sometimes you'll get weird shapes like that, and then we can give this like a nice thing like that, and fill that in. So this makes this cool little bearer, as it were. And then we want a line going across. So maybe these kind of like this. So something cool I like to do is like make little breaks like that, and then we can come down. And then we got like this like cross going on here. So it kind of resembles the Venus symbol in a way, which I kind of like. And then we're gonna put a nice little arrow here, a nice embellished arrow. And then this will end with a circle. And then maybe we put a line like this. Not like that. Something like that. And then the S. What if we make a little sine wave right there? A little sine wave. All right, and that's iteration 2. I like what we got going on here. Maybe this didn't work out as much as I want, nor does this. Like I said, I'm getting kind of a dog here. So what if we tried the big circle? Because I do like the Venus aspect. And then we just flipped that. Still put the circle in the middle. Bring this up. There we go. That looks much better. And then we bring in these two halves. Bring it like this, bring it like that. We can fill this in. That one big shape. And then let's just do one line. It's kind of like balanced on this line here. And then it comes down. I can get a little Ceres at the end of this. So it's kind of like the Venus symbol. So what if we didn't put the bar at the end? Let's see what happens then. So then there's a circle, comes, a little sine wave, move forward. Oh, I missed the R from last time. What if... Ooh, what if we did this? Something like that. This. Put a nice big arrow there. Gives it a lot of movement. And then we want... Oh, I didn't give myself enough room here. So line here. Little thinger there. Like that. Kind of looks a little like a resistor sign. That there. And then we put this here. coming across here. The line going all that way. So that's kind of cool. What does it look like if I put a thing? That gives it a lot more stability. I kind of do like that. Make this a little thicker. So maybe we can clean this up. Let's start way off the page here. No, okay. So let's go ahead and start with this bottom part first. And then a nice big arrow. And then the center line will go like about here. Still don't give myself enough space here. But in any case, we're going to go up. And we're going to make our little vessel. So I like that this is kind of like an arrow pointing down and it grounds itself. So you can have interesting interpretations of the shapes. So then we'll do a circle like this, with a circle within, descending. And so like the downward movement, it's kind of like bringing things down into the world. And then this moving across is kind of like the flow, the movement, like let's keep it going, going across. And then, you know, I kind of don't want to do this. I kind of want to do it in the middle here. Something like this. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the one I like. All right. And then there's a line going across. I'm going to embellish it a little bit. All right, so look, we got a sigil here. Now, how's our other little guy doing? He's still a little thicker on the edges here, but I think we can go ahead and put a second coat down. So here is coat number 2. And like, I've played around with like different textures on this. But for this one, we're going to keep it simple. I'm not going to get too detailed. We're just going to make it a straight, simple copper. As I said, copper is the planetary metal for Venus. So if I'm going to make something Venus related, I'm going to use copper color. So within your own magical traditions, there may be different color associations that you want to work with. So like I said, I work with the Golden Dawn. That's what I am self-initiated into. So I use their color, mystical color theory, as it were, which one of the things that really attracted me to the Golden Dawn is they have a whole bunch of thoughts about color and mystical applications and how they relate to things symbolically. It is a very deep study. So there we go. I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good base. We're just going to put it back over here. Let it dry. Ooh, we got a little bit here, but that's okay. It's just newsprint. So we have our final sigil here. I'm going to let that dry. And then once that's dry, we're going to come back. Use this green paint pen to put this on there. So I'm going to take a few moments. Maybe go grab something to eat, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. My canvas is now dry to the touch, easy to handle. So I noticed on this little guy over here, I didn't put in these squiggles. So I'm actually going to move them to this side. I'm going to sort of do that sort of thing, something like that. That's good enough. Boom. All right, so we're going to put it on here. So as we translate this sigil onto this particular dimensions, here we have whatever space we want. We got to keep in mind the proportions and where everything goes. So, and be mindful of how much how big we size everything. So I've got my green paint pen here. Let me make sure it's running. There we go. Okay, that's good. So the center is about here. So we're going to start with the part at the top. So that. It's a little more oval now, but that's okay. We don't have to be perfect. And then we'll have the little circle. This comes up into a bigger circle. And I'm going to go over these lines and make them thicker. Oh, I made it a whole circle here. That's okay. And then we can continue. I'm going to turn this a little bit, make it a little easier for me. Turn that. All right. So we're going to leave that for there for now. We're going to put the sort of eyeball the bottom line. And then this is just going to go straight down. This line is a little off. That's okay. You can just make it thicker to fix it. And then the other big thing is this arrow. So we want to make sure we get enough space for the arrow. And the end of it should be somewhere over here. It's going to go straight across. Come out a little bit. And then let's do our little sine wave. Come out further. Now I can tell I made this a little angled, but we can kind of fix it. If I really wanted it to be perfect, I could take it into Illustrator, make a vector graphic, and print it out and put it on here and use carbon paper to transfer the design, and then I'd have a geometrically perfect little sigil. But I'm not going through all those steps today. Maybe in the future I'll do a tutorial about how to do that. But perfection is not necessarily the goal, let's just say. So we'll bring this down, and then this comes up. Have a little resistor moment here. I really love like schematic drawings and stuff. I don't really understand them or how they work or any of that or what's going on, but when I was a kid, I got to work at a semiconductor manufacturer in their CAD department, and I got to look at all the schematics and stuff. And they were super nifty, and they really, really paid a big influence on my art. So it's kind of where I get it from. Kinda. All right, so we've got that going on down there. And let me make this a little bigger. A little wider. All right, well, we'll do some embellishments later. All right, so the other things we're missing are basically the points of this V, I guess you would call it. I don't really know what to call it. And then we're going to fill this in. All right, it's coming together. And now we need just this line across. So we'll just put it here. Come out a little bit. Does it match with anything? Matches with that. Beautiful. Let me make it a little longer on this side. And then we can give it little serifs. Kind of give it the little edges here, and then same thing here. You know what I want to do with this? I want to put a line here and then an arrow here. So this movement along that. Direct the flow of energy, as it were. And then this circle. It's kind of like harmony, balance. The circle, drop down. And then we have this. Those lines, that stuff. And then, yeah, we can put little dots. Let's put a little. In fact, let's make the center line thicker. it some heft. You know, and these are all the design decisions you get to make when you make your own sigils. And I just kind of like intuitively do it. I don't really have an idea of what it's going to look like at the end. I let the process sort of happen. And I find the sigil. I sort of look to get what I need. So here we go. We've got our sigil on here. Maybe this could stand to be a little thicker. Match with everything else. Let's bring it around this way. Oop. There we go. And then since we made that thicker, let's make that a little wider. There we go. So here's our sigil. So I really, this green against the copper, I think could use a little work. So what I'm gonna do is, while that dries a little bit, I think I'm gonna grab the black pen and outline the whole thing just to give it a little bit more definition. Ooh, that's kind of watery. Is this? Ooh, that's better. All right, well, yeah, that's better. Ooh, it's gonna take a little bit to dry. That's okay. When you like to paint, there is something about watching paint dry. Maybe it's just me. Something very zen about it. Also doing this, you just kind of trance out. Think about whatever. Something you can do while you're watching TV. No, not really. Listening to a podcast, maybe. All right, we're gonna go around this little doohickey. And now, vital. Boom. Look at that. Come down here. I also could have done this in white, but I think the white may have drawn too much forward, I guess you could say. Like black pulls away and white pushes forward, as it were. And I want the black sort of to pull back and let the green come up. Whereas I think the white would push the green back because the green is darker. But I don't know. There's all sorts of things you can do. I also think black goes really, really well with metallics. So, also a consideration. So I wish I had more examples of these to show you, but I actually usually don't keep these when I make them. I give them away as gifts, mostly. I feel like people really love getting these little canvases of this magical symbol that was made just for them, and it's really personal. And I really like doing it. You know, any chance to express generosity with the people that I love or the people that have touched my life, it's really a wonderful thing. And here we go. So let's see if we can fill in some of these little spots here. I'm gonna have to go back in with the green marker, or the green pen. It's not a marker. It's very much paint. And fill in some of the little gaps in the paint that are showing through. Ooh, I don't like the way this turned out. Let's fix that. There we go. That's good. Yeah, look at that. It's really taking shape now. The black is really giving it like structure, foundation. Ooh, it looks like it's, ooh. Wow, that's a lot. Maybe I should be pressing down on them. I have not used these all that much. It's kind of sort of new to me. Ooh, now it's going out a lot. That's okay. Bump the camera there. We'll see how that looks in post. So I guess this is kind of tedious, but that's actually kind of the part of the way this magic works is the effort you put into making it puts energy into the creation or the sigil, whatever it is that you're trying to do with your magic. And creating something is really a good way to show your devotion to a project or devotion to a deity. If you're working on something and you make something special to reinforce what it is you're working on, like a sigil, you can really put a lot of energy and work into the world that way. And it seems really weird to do something completely unrelated to what you're trying to do and still achieve that thing because of it. And it's just I really, really am interested in the intentional irrationality of magic. But we'll see. I'm going to do videos about all this stuff. I've got a lot of ideas. And I think it's time to begin telling the world about them. Talking to you all, making some community. All right. Boom. Good thing about these pens is that they're fairly opaque and you can kind of go over mistakes a little bit with them. So black. Getting black paint all over my fingers here. Hold on. Art gets messy, folks. And that's okay. Yeah, I used to do this with a brush, and then someone was like, you should use paint pens. And I was like, oh, this is way better for what I want to do. So I still use brushes for stuff, but not this. I want to be precise. Yeah. Boom. I'm going to fill in some of that green right there and right there. But one thing at a time. One thing at a time. So if you enjoyed this sort of thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. Do all those things that every YouTube channel tells you to do. But it really does help out, so I'm hoping to do a lot more content based on my art, based on mysticism, combination of creative stuff and some talks about my own personal experience, being a mystic, being an art mage, being a ceremonial magician, all those things. because they're really interesting, and I've really been keeping a lot of it to myself. But now I think it's time to start sharing it with the world. Ooh, look at that. So let's go over in here with the green a little bit. Right. So there we go. There's other things I could do to this, like since this is a sigil for Venus, I could put a little Venus glyph. You know, I didn't outline these little dots I made. I'm gonna do that. A little circle there. A little circle there. Yeah, that likes some look better. There we go. I could put more embellishments on it if I wanted, but I really like this. So this is done. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry, and once it's dry, I'm gonna put it on my altar. Let it bring into manifestation those creative opportunities that I need. Hopefully Venus will be happy with this, with the work that I will be making. I'm very excited. This new opportunity for me, this YouTube channel, something I've been working towards for a very long time, and I think I'm finally ready to take the plunge. All right, so here we go. Here's a little sigil for creative opportunities. Nice, look at that sheen. I really like metallics, the way they shine, and then contrast with the flat color against it. You know, I play a lot of Magic the Gathering, and I have foil cards, and I do all kinds of things like this, and maybe that's where I get it from. I don't know. But I really, really like the way this came out, and I'm going to put this on my altar. So I want you to go out and try to make your own sigils. Get creative. You can do all kinds of things with them, even if you just doodle in a notebook. Doesn't matter. If you don't think you're any good at them, doesn't matter. Just do it. You get better as you make more of them, and you kind of figure out your style. And I recommend trying to draw them over and over again, and see if you can make variations, and see if you can kind of zhuzh out the right sigil. And that's kind of my approach. But I'm going to cover a lot more of that in my next video, which is going to be all about the metaphysics of sigils. This is sort of how you make them, but there's a lot going on with just this little thing, and we're going to talk about that. So you should stick around. If you want to follow me, you can go to my website at fraterzigmund.com, or you can check me out on Twitter /X, whatever it's called these days. Tumblr, I'm Frater Zigmund at both those. I'm going to have the links in the description. So please follow, like, share, subscribe, comment, leave the little notification bell. There's going to be plenty more coming. I have a lot in me, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So we've got our nice sigil. I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye.